First you were there and now you're here. You're kind of through it, but you're also behind it. I'm excited for this jamboree. Come experience this video with me. Wonderland is where we're going, where there's a queen who's always blowing her top because she's like really angry all the time. The queen's full story is not far, but make sure you don't lose your head, right, Jafar?
Oh, beheaded.
The Queen of Hearts is scary, but do not be wary. Although my name is not Carrie, I'm very prepared to go on this journey to finally meet her in her full story. Hello, I'm Isaac from Want So Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people, and today I'm going to be focusing on the Queen of Hearts and the Red Queen's full story. If you'd like to learn more about the many characters of Wonderland, I've provided all of the links to the movies and the resources I used in the description. And to continue discussing Disney with me, make sure to subscribe, click that bell icon, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now it's time to fall into the rabbit hole. Whoa! When I was doing research for this video, I was scrolling through some Disney wiki pages, as I do, and found there was no mention of the 2010 live-action Alice in Wonderland on the Queen of Hearts page. Gasp, I said, completely shocked. How could this be? The Queen of Hearts was totally in the live-action telling. Well, I found out no, she wasn't. The 2010 film had a character who was represented by the color red, had a temper problem, and who screamed, "Off with the heads! Off with the heads!" But this was actually the Red Queen. How could I have not seen the difference? I say sarcastically. You see, in Lewis Carroll's original Alice series, the Queen of Hearts and Red Queen were distinct characters. The Queen of Hearts first appeared in Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, where she was actually a playing card. Lewis Carroll was quoted in saying he pictured the Queen of Hearts as a sort of embodiment of ungovernable passion, a blind and aimless fury. End quote. The Red Queen, on the other hand, was first seen in Through the Looking Glass, where she was a queen chess piece on the opposing team to Alice. To Carroll, the Red Queen was pictured as a fury, but of another type when compared to the Queen of Hearts. Her passion must be cold and calm. She must be formal and strict, yet not unkindly, pedantic to the 10th degree, the concentrated essence of all governesses. End quote. Since their original appearances, adaptations have continued to blend the two rulers together until we have reached a point where we rarely see the queens separated, which is why if you want to talk about the queens of the Disney Alice in Wonderland films, you can't talk about one without the other. There is one big exception, which is in Once Upon a Time, where the Red Queen is better known as the world-traveling Anastasia, and the Queen of Hearts is the evil queen's mother, Cora. But most works morph the characters like they are mixing some Play-Doh. The 1951 Walt Disney animated film, Alice in Wonderland, does expertly capture the literary nonsense found in the original story, but it perpetuates the long-standing confusion between the Red Queen and the Queen of Hearts by including phrases originally stated by the Red Queen for the Queen of Hearts. In the film, the most notable statements taken for the Queen of Hearts is based on the Red Queen's original declaration, "All the ways about here belong to me." And in Disney's Alice in Wonderland, the Queen of Hearts states,
"All ways of your ways, Your Majesty."
And isn't that statement the truth? We don't know how she came to power in Wonderland, where she came from, or why she is the way she is, because Disney followed Lewis Carroll's original intention of crafting a story with no meaning. The world and its humor are derived from the lack of conventional logic instead of well-timed and thoughtful ideas. Therefore, no characters possess backstories because all characters are meaningless in this type of story. All we know in the classic film is the Queen of Hearts dominates over everyone in her kingdom. She is egotistical, seen through her demanding everyone to greet her with, "Yes, Your Majesty." She is also impatient, sensitive, and prone to dramatic temper tantrums. In addition, the Queen of Hearts' insanity is clear by her awareness of her mood swings.
If I lose my temper, you lose your head.
And the enjoyment she gets from proclaiming sentences to obtain individuals' noggins.
Off with their heads! Never mind all that. Get to the part where I lose my temper.
In truth, she gains glee and excitement from her outbursts, and the only thing that can hold her back just a tiny bit is
The king.
the king is the only one who can hold back the queen from her rages and can convince her of altering her plans slightly.
Off with her!
But consider, my dear, couldn't she have a trial? Just a little trial?
Very well, then.
Although the 1951 Alice in Wonderland film kept the story set within Alice's nonsensical subconscious, thereby leaving the character of the Queen of Hearts with no backstory, the 2010 live-action Alice in Wonderland and its sequel Alice Through the Looking Glass, which was meant to take place after the original story, expands on the lore of the world. Erisabeth of Crims, otherwise known as the Red Queen, was declared to be the future Queen of Underland when she was born to the land's current rulers. But this was revoked after a series of unfortunate events. Erisabeth had one sister, Mirana, who would become the White Queen, and who early in childhood stole a tart from their mother and left the remains under Erisabeth's bed. When confronted, Mirana lies to her mother on the location of the tart, which leaves Erisabeth greatly upset. In a fit of emotions, Erisabeth runs into a clock, which leads to the massive growth of her head and the beginning of her deformation into a cruel leader. At the coronation of the Red Queen, Erisabeth is mocked for the crown not fitting on her abnormal head, which causes a fit of rage and her father deciding to pass the crown onto the White Queen instead. The Red Queen devolves into jealousy for her sister, for the White Queen had gained not only the crown, but genuine love from her subjects. Due to her rage for her sister, the Red Queen becomes a rageful, cruel, hot-tempered leader within Underland, very similarly to the Queen of Hearts. This Red Queen takes on the Queen of Hearts catchphrase, "Off with their heads," uses animals as inanimate objects, has the White Rabbit and the Fish Footman work for her, and possesses a heart motif throughout her castle. The only motif I kind of have going through my studio is Disney stuff and Watso Videos merch at watsostore.com. Even the idea of a tart being stolen is derived from the original story of the Queen of Hearts, only in the 2010 film it's a frog footman who stole the tart instead of the Knave of Hearts, since she's in love with him in this new series. Her large head, on the other hand, was actually inspired by the enemy of the Queen of Hearts, known as the Duchess. Needless to say, the 2010's Red Queen was formed using inspiration from a large number of Carol's original characters. The Red Queen eventually grows so powerful, she brings forth a champion to battle the White Queen on a battlefield that looks an awfully like a chessboard to wink back at the original Red Queen. But unfortunately for Erisabeth, the monstrous Jabberwocky is slain by Alice and the Red Queen's army gives up the fight against the White Queen's army, leaving Erisabeth to be exiled by her sister. In the sequel though, after some destructive dealings with Father Time and learning about one another, Erisabeth and Mirana do forgive each other for their actions. The Queen of Hearts and the Red Queen were originally intended by Lewis Carroll to be separate characters that existed within a world built on the notion of nonsense and the lack of logic. Bazinga. See, that's nonsense. Or maybe it's not. Am I doing the Lewis Carroll thing again? These characters existed, but their origins and purpose in the story were originally meaningless, like those last few sentences. Over the many years of adaptations and retellings, the Queen of Hearts and the Red Queen have been blended together to a point where it's difficult to know the differences between them. And these Play-Doh character combinations have slowly begun to be given character development and growth. Regardless of which queen you speak to though, I have some advice for you. Make sure to turn out your toes, curtsy, open your mouth a little wider, and always say, "Yes, Your Majesty."
Yes, Your Majesty.
If you enjoyed discussing the Queen of Hearts and the Red Queen, then click that like button. And if you are interested in staying up to date with more magical Alice in Wonderland videos, then click that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So now it's time for the question of the day, sponsored by my patrons. Do you prefer the Queen of Hearts or the Red Queen? To me, it's difficult to beat the original. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other ideas you have for future Discovering Disney episodes. If you'd like to see more Watso videos, then check out some awesome pics over here. And as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day.